Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Genuine Podcast. I hope you all are doing well. For anybody who's watching the podcast on YouTube, you might see that I am still a little bit swollen. So I just got my wisdom teeth out. By the time this comes out, it would have already been like a little over a week. Everything went well for the most part. I just have moments where it is a little bit painful. So I've been eating a lot of applesauce and ice cream and just like a lot of soup and whatnot. But I'm starting, or I guess right now, I'm starting to finally eat like a little more like solid foods and whatnot. So yeah, I'm just going through the recovery process and I'm trying to be patient with that, but it is a little bit hard sometimes, but just doing what I can to take care of myself. But that's my quick little update of what's going on with me. But for this episode, we are doing a Father's Day episode. But by the time this comes out, Father's Day would have been yesterday in real time when I'm filming this. It's still like a week away. So I do have Jerry on the line. Jerry, how are you?
Yo, what's up? Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day. How are you doing?
Honestly, chilling. Your boy's been a little tired today, but I'm pushing through, and overall, I think I'm in a good mood. So, yeah, let's roll.
I am also slightly a bit tired, but I think it's just because of the meds and everything. And I have a little bit of pain right now, but we're just trying to push through that. But let's start with our report card. So you could give yours first.
Sounds good. I guess mentally, I'd say I'm at a pretty good B plus. Everything's good. Um, yeah, everything's pretty good. B plus. That's what I'd give it. Physically, been having some trouble at the gym. Just feeling like not demotivated, just so tired. Honestly, like I still want to work out. I'm just so tired. That's been affecting my workouts recently, but I still feel good. Gonna give myself a B. Yeah, just a B. So that's my report card. Not the best report card, but it's all right. How's your report card looking, Bianca?
Mine is not looking so good. Mentally, I'm probably at like a C just because I can't really do too much right now. So I'm just kind of cooped up in my house, but I'm still trying to do my Spanish lessons and read because for a few days I was just, kind of out of it. So I definitely put a bit of a pause on that. But now, like, I'm starting to get back into it again. Physically, I'm like I'm at a F right now. I cannot work out for 2 weeks. So that is a little bit disappointing because I started making progress again, being consistent again. And then boom, like I had my surgery. So I'm still going to like my hula classes just to watch or like just do like arms and whatnot. I'm trying to go on walks like with my little puppy. He's actually behind me sleeping. So it's been nice to also go on family walks and just see all the purple flowers that are falling in my neighborhood. And it's so pretty at this time. But that's it for my report card. And like I said, this is a Father's Day episode. So let's get on to our first question. So, for our first question, what is your favorite memory that you have with your dad?
All right, so I'll go first. I'd say my favorite memory with my dad is like a long time ago. I don't know how old I was, but we just went fishing and I think I caught a fish and I might have killed it, but like, we're gonna eat it anyway, so it's okay. But yeah, it was just like a cool little like classic fishing story. And it was cool. We got a chair from a dude, and that's as much as I remember, but I'd say that's like my favorite memory, I think. What about you?
Okay, that's interesting. You got a chair from a dude. But that's a cute little story going fishing with your dad. For me, there's probably two that I can actually remember from when I was a child. As an adult, I haven't had too much like just one-on-one time with my dad, but I do remember going on a biking trail with my dad, or I guess like going biking, and we biked 20 miles. And I forgot how old I was. I definitely was very young. Like I was maybe like 8 or something, but we went biking for like miles and miles and miles. And I was extremely red, but I mean, it was nice to just go and move my body with my dad. So I would say that's probably one of them. And this other one, it's a kind of just like a random one. I remember when I was younger. I don't know why, but of course I hadn't gone through puberty at the time, but I would see my dad always put deodorant on, and I'm like, why is he putting like this thing under like his armpits, you know? I didn't understand at the time. I didn't know what it was. And I was like, "Oh, I want some too." And he literally like pinned me on the bed and he was like putting it under my arms, but I was laughing. It tickled me. So that's also like a cute little like funny memory that I have of my dad.
That one is extremely random. All right, but the bike trip is cool. Damn, 20 miles, bro.
Yeah, 20 miles was crazy. And the deodorant one is like just kind of funny, but it's funny to
Yeah,
me. Obviously, I was laughing just because like I was getting tickled, but yeah, I just didn't understand at the time like what deodorant was cuz I didn't wear it or I hadn't like gone
but
through, puberty yet.
we understand the importance of it now, right?
Yes, now we understand the
Okay.
importance of deodorant. It's very, very important.
Yes, indeed. Alrighty.
But moving on to our next question. What kind of dad do you have?
Yeah, so for me, I definitely had like a more disciplinary dad. Very the way I would describe it, I guess maybe very militant. I always associated my dad with what do you call those people? Military drill guy. I forgot what they're called. But yeah, my dad was a very disciplined, very strict father. And I think that's kind of molded me into a respectable young man. But yeah, that's definitely the kind of dad I had. He's also oddly enough like the life of the party. He's always kind of been that guy too. But at least growing up, like I viewed him more as like a drill guy. So what about your dad? What kind of dad did you have?
That's so interesting. I think my dad is probably the opposite of your dad. Mine, he's like super laid back, super chill. My dad used to be a DJ back in the day, so he's always like recording music in our garage and he has like turntables and yeah, he's just like super, super relaxed.
Shout out the Chill Pill, dude. Does he still make music to this day?
Well, I mean, he doesn't like make music. I guess he makes like tracks of songs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like a set, right?
Yeah, like a set.
Okay.
He still does do that to this day.
Okay. Oh, that's sick. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. But moving on to our next question, what's something you admire most about your dad?
Okay. So there's two things. I guess one is I guess growing up, I always saw my dad as like a very jacked individual. So when I was a chunky little kid, I was like, "Oh, I want to be yoked like my dad. I want to be strong. I have muscles, whatever, move around big stuff. So I always admired that, and it kind of gave me some motivation to I guess get fit when I was younger. I didn't do it, but eventually it kicked in. And then the second thing I admire about him, which I always admired, is that low key my dad was a pimp, dude. He'd go he's how do I put this? He didn't discriminate. He went for everything, and my dad was he was just a pimp, bro. And I always admired him for that. And he's given me the sauce as well. So shout out my dad for that. What about you, Bianca?
That's so funny. I guess one of ours is like the same thing. My dad has always been pretty active and he's still very active till this day. So that is something I really admire about him, that he really has tried to take care of his physical health. Even I think next month he's turning 58 or 59, somewhere around there. So he's close to 60, but he moves really well. Like he does cycling. Like he still has like a good amount of muscles still for someone his age. So it's something that I really admire, that he's kept up with his physical health as best as he can. Obviously, he doesn't look the same as like when I was a child, but he's still making the effort to take care of his physical health. And I guess the other thing that might be a little bit similar to yours also is that he's just very social. Like he's a person that will go and he'll just talk to random people for like hours and hours, and like nobody's gonna pull him away unless like we pull him away or something, you know? So I do like that he's pretty social with pretty much like anybody for the most part.
Yeah, dude, my dad's literally the same way. Like he's a comadre, as they say, and he'll talk to anyone, dude. So, yeah. Also, shout out your dad though for. I respect like especially when I see at the gym like the older homies still working out, and I just think it's so cool that they still do it. And at the end of the day, that's like the key to a long life. Uh, like you said, he cycles. That's great for your heart. Just cool all around.
Yeah, preach. Really preach that. But for our next question, what's the biggest lesson your dad has ever taught you?
Alrighty. For me, I guess maybe growing up, I would say, I guess just the way he raised me, like to be respectful. I guess you could say it's like a lesson he taught me. But I'd say the most major one that may be a little negative, but basically stay away from alcohol or addictive things. Because I've just seen the way that maybe it's kind of wrecked his life. Whoops. And so it kind of gave me that negative association with those kind of substances. So these days I just kind of mostly stay clean, and I don't even have a drive to partake in that. And I think it's kind of because I saw that in my dad or my family. So not to get too deep there, but I do think that's like the biggest lesson I got from my pops. What about you?
Those are definitely some very important lessons. Mine is, I guess, a little bit slightly different. I just, even still now, he kind of preaches this to me, but definitely when I was a lot younger, he would just always tell me to make sure to talk to everybody, for the reason that you just don't want to make anybody feel left out. And yeah, I don't know if something happened in his childhood where someone said something that he was just kind of like being stuck up or something. But yeah, like I said, he's always going talking to whoever. So that's probably a lesson that he's always kind of preached to me. So, or that's something that I could think of that he definitely like stresses out a lot to me.
That's interesting. Would you say you follow that lesson of talking to everybody?
No. I mean, I'm not just willing
Uh,
to talk to anybody because I think there are definitely some people that are not worth my time. And I'm pretty picky with who I want in my life, because I'm not willing to have anybody that's a bad influence in my life. And I'm pretty sure there's I forgot what it's called, but there's some like theory or there's some effect that says, whoever you're surrounded by will either bring you up or bring you down. So if you're with a bunch of people who, I don't know, are like super smart and they're really athletic, then you're more likely to rise with those people and be like them, compared to somebody, I don't know, if you had a group and they're all alcoholics and they did a bunch of drugs, then of course, you're more likely to go down a path like that.
Yeah, I absolutely got to agree with that. I think that's very true.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say I'm definitely pretty social for the most part. I mean, if you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you. Like if you're cordial with me, I'm going to be cordial with you. Um but yeah, I mean, I definitely do yap to a lot of people, I would say though.
Epic.
Epic. For our next question, what changes have you seen over the years as your dad has gotten older?
All right. So for me, nothing major. My dad maybe just got a little softer and shorter, and that's really it. That's all I've noticed. Maybe 2% more responsible. So that's good progress. And yeah, it's really all I've noticed in my pops. What about your pops?
I would say, I mean, of course, like the physical, of course, I could see my dad's getting a bit older. Maybe he's losing some hair. He is getting shorter. He's shrinking, even though he says that I'm just getting taller, but I know that's not what's happening. Um, and also, what I can remember, both of my parents were kind of like party animals from what I remember. So, I mean, they're definitely not party animals anymore as they've gotten older. They definitely like chill out and have like a glass of wine, and that's just kind of it.
Shout out. Aging.
Shout out aging. But for our next
Yes.
question, do you feel like you're becoming more like your dad as you're getting older?
Okay. Um, I kind of don't think so for me. Maybe I've heard like maybe I resemble him a bit more than I used to. That was a long time ago. I don't know. I don't think I'm really becoming much like my dad. Yeah, I can't say I am. What about you?
I think I honestly might be when I was younger. I mean, I think kids are just generally like pretty crazy and spunky, or at least like I was. I was definitely all over the place when I was a kid. And then when I got older, I would say I definitely have like mellowed out a lot more. And I guess if I'm comparing both of my parents, I probably would say I have my dad's temperament more than my mom. Like I'm definitely, I would say, more relaxed a lot of the time. My mom, I think, is sometimes like a little bit stressed out. No shade to my mom, but yeah, I would say maybe I am slightly becoming a little bit more like my dad. But also, I guess on the active side of him, I've always been pretty active. So I think I'm also physically just built more like my dad as well. So I definitely do have a drive of like wanting to take care of my health as well,
Which is a good drive.
which is a good drive. But moving
Yes.
on to our next question, describe your dad in 3 words.
Shoot. I honestly only got one word for my dad, and that would be loud. That's all I got. I couldn't think of two other ones. So, what about you?
Loud. Okay, that's so interesting. For
He's a very
me,
loud.
I didn't
Sorry,
know
carry
that.
on.
I mean, I haven't met your dad, but I've just seen him, I think. But for me, 3 words that I would describe my dad, I would say he's funny, he's chill, and he's active.
Shout out those three.
Shout out those three.
He more of like like he just says funny things. He tells jokes. Like, what kind of funny is he?
He definitely says like very funny things and he does make jokes, but it's definitely like a dark sense of humor. And I honestly, I don't really have that type of humor, but I mean, there are some things that I do think is kind of funny that he says.
Awesome. Goated.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I mean, I don't know if I want to say any examples on
No, you're
here.
good. Let's not get canceled.
Yeah, but I mean, he definitely has said some funny things. But
That's really all right. Cool.
anyways, though, for our last question, if you could say one thing to your dad this Father's Day, what would it be?
I'm gonna keep mine very simple. I'd say Happy Father's Day, and then I'll give him a little hug. That's it. What about you?
Oh, that's cute. I like how you added the imaginary hug in there.
Gotta have
Um,
the hug.
yeah, you do. You gotta have the hug. I actually wrote something. It's not mine is pretty simple too, but I would just say thank you for everything that you have done for me. I appreciate all the sacrifices that you have made for me. I have an amazing dad, and I love you so so much.
Oh, is that the right answer?
Yeah, and then the hug at the
Okay.
end.
Oh, you threw in the hug too. Nice. No, that's cool. Yeah, shout out that.
Yep. But okay, you guys. So that was our little Father's Day pod episode. It was a little short one, but happy Father's Day to everybody else's fathers out there. And also happy Father's Day to like my grandpa and also Omar, which is someone that I go to for Bible studies. And my Theo. That's all I could think of. Or all my Theos.
Yo, shout out everyone. Shout out Omar though. He's a cool guy.
He is a cool guy. But okay, so now we will go into our weekly wins. So, Jerry, what is your weekly win?
Ooh, my weekly win. Uh, you know what? Get back to me. What's yours?
For me personally, I would say my Duolingo. I mean, that's just like a default. I still have a streak. I think I'm at like 48 days now, but by the time this comes out, hopefully like I'll be somewhere in the 50s. But yeah, I've been doing pretty good with that. Also, I'm halfway done with my book, my Ikigai book, so that is also really exciting.
Yeah, dude, that's great, dude. Glad you're staying consistent and disciplined. Now, I did think of an answer though for me, and that would be that I got a new hoodie from my boy. So there you go, a new piece to the collection. And yeah, that's my weekly win.
Okay, right on. We love new clothes. But now we will go into appreciation time. So, Jerry, what are you grateful for or appreciative that has happened to you this week?
I'm appreciative of the cool bus drivers that take me home and they remember my stop. So shout out them for being cool. And that's who I'm grateful for. Who are you grateful for, Bianca?
There's like two things that I'm grateful for. I am grateful for my parents just because they have been help taking care of me during this time in recovery. And also my sister too. She has been trying to help me as well, asking me if I like need anything from the market and whatnot. And also I am appreciative of drugs because the painkillers have been helping me tremendously. So, they're definitely kind of saving my life right now.
Damn, drugged up Bianca's crazy.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, they have been helping me. But
Yeah.
okay, you guys, so that is officially the end of the podcast. Is there anything that you would like to say to everyone, Jerry?
Yes, happy Father's Day to everybody. Cool to shoot once again. And a little tip for everyone, make sure you wear deodorant. All right. Peace out.
I know my deodorant story is probably so odd, but okay, you guys. So that was the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And also, like Jerry said, I hope you all had a very wonderful Father's Day. Or if you are celebrating it later on, happy Father's Day. And it's time for me to go because I'm low key in pain right now. But okay, you guys, I hope you have a very good night, evening, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. And I'll talk to y'all again soon.